to my channel. So hopping right into it, we're gonna prep that skin by getting some witch hazel on a cotton ball and just cleaning that off. And then I'm going in with the Juvia's Place Glow Oil, and I'm just using 3 dots, and I'm getting that all on my skin. Then I'm gonna go in with the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Serum in the shade Juice Boost, and we're just rubbing that in. And I have dry skin, so I like using hydrating things. Then I'm going in with that Milk Hydro Grip Eye Primer, and I'm just putting that under my eye and making sure to massage it in really good. Then we're going on with that Milk Hydro Grip Face Primer, and we're just getting that in the skin good. And then of course, girl, you need some chapstick. So now going in with that Duo Lash Glue, and a little goes a long way. So you just want to do about 3 dots of it, and you're going to use this to lay down those brow hairs. The brow wax, brow freeze, all that stuff doesn't work for me, so I like using the lash glue hack. So I put the lash glue in, and I take a clean spoolie, and I'm just brushing my brow hairs up and to the side. And then I like to kind of pat them with my finger, and you're good to go. So now I'm going in with the Black Opal foundation stick, and I'm going to use 3 shades here to kind of get the best match for my skin tone. And I don't have the shades right in front of me, so if you want to know the shade colors, they'll be in the description box below. But I'm just going to layer those shades one on top of each other. And then I'm also going to go in with the the Huda Beauty foundation and the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. And I'm just putting that on top of where I laid that cream foundation down from that foundation stick. So now I'm going in with my beauty blender, and I'm just gonna use the bottom, the rounded part of it, to just press all of that foundation in together. And I'm just pressing. And then I'm going in with my Real Techniques Instapop, I believe is the name of this brush, and I'm just going over top with that. And y'all are gonna see I go back and forth with that Instapop brush the whole makeup look. So now taking an angled kind of fluffy brush, I'm going in with these e.l.f. putty bronzers. And you want to make sure when you're laying your bronzer or your contour that you don't go too low on your face, because that's going to create the opposite effect. You're trying to make your face look more lifted, so you want to keep it high. You don't want to put it so low. I'm just contouring and bronzing my normal places, so my chin, my cheeks, my forehead, and I'm going to go ahead and start my nose contour. And I like using brushes as opposed to going directly in like with a foundation stick or the product, just because I feel like it gives it a softer look. So now I'm going in with the fluffy angle brush, and I'm just blending out that bronzer a little bit more, giving it more of that airbrush feel, and then I'm going over it with my Instapop brush. Now I'm going in with Suede Mocha, and I'm just doing this to deepen up my face a little bit more. And I'm trying to make sure I keep it more pushed back towards my hairline and not going as low as I did before. And I'm using a fluffy brush again because I just like how soft it makes everything look. I just feel like it makes everything look so soft. And then of course I'm going back over it with my foundation brush. I'm going in with the CoverGirl concealer and the L'Oreal Inflammable concealer, and I'm mixing 2 shades, a darker shade and a lighter shade, just so I can kind of get the tone I want. I usually like using Honey, but I didn't have that shade today, so I mixed these 2, and this is the shade I got. So I wanted something still poppy, but a little close to kind of the brighter parts of my face, my skin tone. And so I'm going to use this shade just on the outer parts of my eye, the top of my forehead, my chin, and then I'm going to go ahead and start carving out my brow in the shape that I would kind of fill it in. And then I'm going to take a lighter shade, and I'm going to pop that in my inner corner, right underneath my eye right there, and on my nose. And this is the only place I put that super light shade, so that's the only place we'll be keeping it. Then I'm going in with Suede Mocha on my nose, and I'm just building that contour where I want it. And now I'm gonna go ahead. This is my favorite part, y'all. I love blending out concealer. It is so satisfying. So I'm gonna start by blending out the darker shade first, because we don't want to blend out the lighter shade and then blend out into the darker shade and we transfer that color of that light. So we're gonna take the darker shade first and then we're gonna blend out the lighter shade. I hope that makes sense. This is key right here too. Y'all will see when you're blending out that concealer underneath your eye, making sure you drag that up on your lid and kind of like in between that space. I'm gonna point it out right there, that space right there. You really need to make sure you're gonna see the difference. Like, look at all of the difference it makes compared to the other side. It's already giving snatch, boo-boo. It's giving snatch, boo-boo. So you want to just blend that out, and we're gonna blend it out into that contour, and we're just blend, blend, press, press, blend, and then going back over with my foundation brush just to make sure everything is smooth and we're looking good. Like, we're looking like something. We are looking like something. We're looking like something. So now I'm blending out that concealer that's on my nose, and yeah. I can show you bigger things than that. It's gonna be a minute till I'm okay. And just to make sure that nose contour is blended, I'm going in with a Morphe M506. It's a really small blending brush, just to make sure it's no harsh lines there. And then I felt like I needed to reinforce it some more, so I'm taking that same brush, dipping it in the Suede Mocha, and relaying that contour on my nose. And I like to keep it tight, and I like the little button nose, so I'll do the circle around the middle. And then I'm popping a little bit more concealer just to really make it pop. And I'm blending out those under eye creases before I set my under eyes. So now I'm going in with that Milani setting spray, and I'm spraying my setting brush, and I'm using the Dermablend translucent powder. And this is the first powder I'm going to lay down, and I'm laying all these powders down everywhere that we place the concealer on our face. So you can use a brush that you spray with some setting spray, or you can use a wet beauty blender, whichever one you have by you. And we're just going to press that powder in, and it's just going to start to create this really seamless look. Now I'm going in with the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop mattifying powder, and this powder is butter. Do you see how flawless? Like, it is really, using this powder technique just took the face up like a whole 3 notches. Now I'm going in with the Maybelline Fit Me loose finishing powder, and this is really gonna top off that airbrushed effect. It's gonna give us a flawless, smooth finish. It's gonna look amazing. Like, I absolutely love these 3 powders together, and I just feel like it just makes the face look so good. It complements the face so well. And then I'm gonna go over it with my foundation brush, just making sure that everything is blended in really good and all the powders are pressed in really good and nothing is looking too powdery. Truck to the hotel lobby, me, I go through underground garages. So now I'm taking that Charlotte Tilbury powder, and I'm using this to just set the rest of the face. So everywhere we did not lay concealer will be where we're going to use this powder. And I'm using a fluffy brush just to make sure it's pressed in really good. And in the places where I like my highlight to be popping but not too much, like my chin area and my forehead, for me, I like to just kind of go over it with this powder as well, just to make sure that it's not pulling in too bright. Now I'm going to go in with the Juvia's Place bronzers, and I'm just using the tan palette. I'm using both of them from the Duo, and I'm just patting that bronzer in. Same thing where I laid those bronzers, and that contour is where we're going to lay these powders at. And again, all the shades and everything that I'm using will be listed in the description box below. I also used the lighter shade in the dark Duo for Juvia's Place, the bronzers. So I just wanted to say that I did go in with that with one of the shades from the dark palette as well. Now I'm using that Dermablend powder, and I'm just putting that where I highlighted on my nose just to make sure that pops. And then I'm going in with just the shades from the Juvia's Place tan bronzers to contour my nose. I don't use the shades from the dark Duo palette.
A lot of people gunning for the title. A lot of people trying.
And we're just gonna go in with that Morphe M506 to make sure that that nose is blended out really good. And then I'm taking the Maybelline finishing powder and I'm using that just to carve out that nose contour to give it an even more snatched look. And we're not gonna let that powder bake or anything. We're gonna press it into the skin and kind of dust it away. Now I'm just taking that Morphe M506 and just blending out the lines of that nose contour just to make sure everything's good. Now I'm going in with the Juvia's Place blush and I'm using the red and the orange blush from that duo. I think it's volume 1. Love these blushes. They're so pretty. Once I got that blush laid down, I'm going in with that Maybelline Fit Me finishing powder again, and I'm using that to kind of carve out that contour, that bronzer, give it a little bit more structure to the face. And like I said, I don't like to bake, so we're gonna dust it off with the powder brush that we used, and then I'm gonna press it in again with my foundation brush. Now I'm going in with the Beauty by Melissa eyeshadow palette. I love this palette. Love it, love it, love it. So I'm using my setting brush just to blend out my eyes to make sure that I don't have any creasing. I'm getting some powder and I'm using that to kind of set my eyelid. And then I'm going in with this brown shade, and I'll have the shades in the description box below. But I'm using the transition one, the lighter shade, and I'm just placing that starting on the outer part of my eye, and I'm dragging it up to the front of my eyebrow. And like I said, this is going to be your lighter shade. I'm using a fluffy brush, so more of your transition shade, so you can be a bit more forgiving here. But we really want to keep this near the crease and a little bit upward from there. Don't go too far up because you still want to leave some negative space in between your brow and the eyeshadow. But yeah, we're going to keep it right there. You also don't want to go too far down because we're going to use that lid space. Now I'm going in with this deeper, more of a brick red kind of color, and I'm using a fluffier brush that's tighter and more dense, and we're gonna lay this shade right in the crease and overlap it with the first brown about 50-50. So this shade you're not bringing as high, you're still bringing it towards that front of the eyebrow, but you're keeping it very tight on your crease. So when you're doing the eyeshadow, don't be afraid to keep dipping into your eyeshadow palette until you get the color payoff that you're looking for. I used to be a bit scared when I was doing this, but now no, you keep going in until you get enough and until you get the color that you're wanting. So because we're gonna create this this look where we have this white kind of nude color in the middle of our eye, I'm going in with my concealer brush that I used earlier, and I'm just patting that from the inner corner about midway. And then I'm going to take a fluffy brush and I'm going to blend out that concealer because we're not going for a cut crease. We want something more soft, so we want the concealer already blended into those eyeshadows, so when we pat that lighter eyeshadow on top, it just blends that much easier. So you'll see here I'm going in with these beigey cream kind of colors. I mixed two colors together and I'm laying that with the fluffy brush right where I blended out that concealer. And you really want to press it into that brown so that you really marry the colors together. And then just keep, reinforcing the color, like I said, until you get the color payoff that you want. Now, just to add a little spice, I'm going to take that red brown and I'm going to kind of connect it from the outer corner and bring it in towards my inner corner as if it was eyeliner. And I just like the effect that it gives. It's nice and soft. And then from there, I like to take a fluffy brush and just kind of blend the edges of it out. Now I'm going back in with that same brown and I'm just packing it underneath my waterline. And this is just going to help our eyes pop that much more. I don't go anywhere without eyeshadow on my lower waterline. I'm sorry. So, oh well. Once we go in with that darker brown, then we're going to grab the lighter brown and use that 50-50 method to go over it under there as well. Now taking our bronzer and that lighter eyeshadow, we're just going to make sure everything is blended where they meet each other in the front of that eyebrow. Now going in with that Anastasia dip brow, I'm just going to start by lining the bottom of the brow, and I'm following the shape that we've already created with the concealer, and I'm not taking that line too far to the front because I want to leave a little space. I want to do the same thing at the top, following the shape that's already there and just outlining it, not taking it all the way to the front of the eyebrow because we want to leave that space. And then we're just going to do hair-like strokes, soft pressure, and kind of flicking of our brow is the motion that we like to think here. Just remember to keep your pressure light, and you really want to focus on filling in the spaces that really need it. So don't overdo it. If a part of your brow is more full than the other part, I recommend leaving that part alone and just filling in the sparse places, and of course the front of the brow where we didn't do anything at currently. So that's what you see me doing right here, where I'm flicking the brush upward. Now taking a loose shimmery highlight, I like to go in with the fluffy brush and just add this on the top to give it a bit more of a pop. And I'm taking the same highlighter on my cheeks and the same fluffy brush, and I'm just making sure to be soft and light because I don't want the highlight to be too harsh. I just want it to give it a little soft sheen glow to the face. And this is actually my highlighter, so whenever it's gonna be released I will let y'all know, but for right now I've been using her. I love her. I use her on all of my clients. I have a few different shades, and I love these highlighters. So I'm just highlighting everywhere that I want to stand out. So I did not show the first clip of me laying down the dark lip liner because I was out of frame, but I laid down my dark lip liner and I overlined my lip just a little bit, and then I went in with a brown lip liner about 50-50 to give me this ombre look. Now I'm going in with the P. Louise lip paint, and everyone loves this color. I love this color, and I'm just putting the lip paint on a fluffy brush and putting it in the middle of my lips where I left that negative space. And you want to make sure you blot. Do not rub them together, just blot. After you get it blotted in pretty good, I like to take that brown shade and just go over it with in between the nude, just to make sure that everything is blended really good. Then I'm going in with these glosses, and the new gloss just sets it off. It just brings everything together. It helps everything look so good. I love a good glossy nude combo. So I'm going to use about 3 different glosses. They'll be all linked in the description. But I'm going in with these glosses. I'm going to go in with an NYX gloss that's more of a brown shade, so I can put that on the darker part of my lips. And then I'm going to go in with a clear gloss just to top everything off and to give it that really wet look, so to say.
J for survival. A lot of people gunning for the title. A lot of people trying to take us viral. I'm just trying to have a nice night.
So now I'm just going to take a napkin and blot those lips a little bit so it's not too sticky. And then we're going to spray with the Milani Set and Spray and blend it in, press it in, excuse me, with that foundation brush, and we're done. Y'all, thanks for tuning in today and for rocking out with me while we did this beat. It's given. It's given. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen this face. Y'all seen what was going on. Y'all saw me do my photo shoot, so y'all already know. So I just recreated the same look. I know it's a look that the girls love, that everyone has been doing, and so I just wanted to give y'all my version on it and how I get to it. Definitely try to look out. I'm gonna be sure to list all the products that I use in the description box below, and yeah, I'll be back once I'm prettied up and I get my clothes on and I'm looking all put together. So